There you are, playing the PvP in your Cold War shooter, and all of a sudden, you're a commie. You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose this. Yet, there it is. And it's treated no differently than playing an American soldier.
Now over in Korea, our boys have fought and fell, but they died just
This is bad on so many levels. No one should ever have a random chance of fighting for the commies. And we should never express that there's no meaningful difference between commies and NATO soldiers, or that they're functionally interchangeable. And before anyone says not all North Vietnamese soldiers in the Vietnamese War were commies, if they were wearing the hammer and sickle, and functioning as an arm of the commie government, then unless the game goes out of its way to tell you specifically that your character is not a commie, then they're a commie. In that multiplayer shooter, when it switched you to the North Vietnamese side, did it go out of its way to tell you that the person you're playing was pressed into service under threat of their life? Yeah, that's a big old nope. Oh, and on a condescending note, let's please stop forcing people to play as orcs as well. There you are, playing your 40k shooter, and all of a sudden you're a filthy green-skinned XENOS scum. You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose this. And yet second first is same as the first. There it is. I mean, that's literally the name of your side in the game. We can do better than this. Even if you realise that video games are not real life and we're just milking other people's loss. But the communists were pretty brutal. No one should have to put on the costume of an ideology they find abhorrent without actually opting into it in your game. And by making people do so, we make sure teams are balanced so games are actually fun. We normalised them. We made them just window dressing for entertainment. Those uniforms, those symbols, become things that no longer inherently revolt us. They reduce our visceral reaction to seeing the embodiment of these ideologies. Now, does this make us totally ignore the history that comes with them? Apparently. But for some people it moves them from the territory of revolting to just edgy. It makes scrawling a hammer and sickle on something change from unthinkable to just completely normal. It means you might not take yellow stars over a website as a warning sign that you should immediately leave. And if you don't leave, you might start reading and buying into hateful ideas there. It seems like a small and simple thing, but it's things like this that erode our safeguards against dangers we sacrificed so much to fight. By the time you've played 100 hours of being a commie, their voice stabs become memes and in-jokes with your friends. By the 1000th time you respawn as an orc, you're either
Orcs is made for fighting!
Or you're
Orcs! Purge the beasts!
Neither of which helps the galactic crisis we have that takes trillions of lives every year. So what do? That's easy. We don't make them morally equivalent. Don't make there be no in-game moral difference between your commies and your NATO. Between your
XENOS spotted.
And your
Orcs, 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 orcs.
Frame PvP is just a shitty training exercise. Or make it into that whole Halo machinima but in World War II, I guess. A good example of a game that sucks up to the Chinese Communist Party is Rainbow Six Siege. Did you know they changed visual elements in all parts of the world to comply with them? This highlights how real and present the threat of state censorship is, and if you decide that you need to have both sides be playable, don't make them balanced. Don't have players randomly spawn in as one or the other. Allow them to choose which side they're on. Now of course this would render any online game unplayable, but all we have to do is artificially extend the wait times for the side we don't like, Lamau. Because people don't play games to have fun. They have them so they can identify with a particular side and we can declare people as wrong thinkers. Honestly, this is impossible to keep going. The ending conclusions are all based on these retarded premises, so they don't make any sense.